What's going on, guys? This is another episode here in Nolan's pod. I'm giving out my finals predictions today because today is game day. Game one of the NBA Finals starts, and I was going to talk about the finals to kick it off, but as of this morning, Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski with a bomb. He just said, just released detail that the Los Angeles Lakers want Danny Hurley as their head coach. Dan Hurley, the UConn Huskies head coach. He's coming off of back-to-back national titles, championships in college basketball, and they said that the Lakers are targeting him to be the franchise's next head coach, as Woj just broke that report. And Woj also said that they're prepared to give him a massive long-term contract. Looking at this morning, as I am filming this podcast right now, as of this morning, as I just literally just seen this probably about 5 minutes ago, this news from Woj, I'm stunned. I don't even know what to say. We didn't see. I'm pretty sure nobody's seen that coming because JJ Redick was all they were talking about was JJ Redick, and it seemed like that JJ Redick was the front runner for the job because the Lakers just announced 2 days ago that he was one of the front runners for the job, and everybody is expecting JJ Redick to get the job because JJ Redick and LeBron just started this podcast together, and they've been doing this podcast for a little minute. And we know how LeBron is with picking coaches and also firing coaches, but we know how LeBron also is with acting like he had nothing to do with the coaches being hired or the coaches being fired. But being that him and JJ Redick had this podcast, and that being that JJ Redick is a hot name right now, and that the Lakers just announced literally that he was a front runner for the job, Dan Hurley probably is going to get the job now. As Woj broke that, I'm in complete shock. I don't even know what to say. But I will say this, at least Dan Hurley has the coaching experience that JJ Redick doesn't. At least Dan Hurley has back-to-back national titles at UConn with the Huskies. Not experienced in the NBA as a coach, I don't think. I have to double check that, but I don't think so. But definitely experienced in college and definitely has coaching experience, something that JJ Redick does not have. With all due respect to JJ Redick, he was a good player, a good role player. We know he could shoot the lights out of the ball, but I just don't personally think that he's the right person for the job. But I mean, man, Dan Hurley. When Woj breaks news for the NBA, it's definitely news. It's definitely news. Every time he breaks something, it's definitely news. And for it to be at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock in the morning and Woj breaking news like this to start off the day, it is a complete shocker. Seriously. I mean, we all thought JJ Redick was getting the job. I mean, Woj, you wrote this one on us, man. Golly. And this is on the very day of the finals that game one starts. The Lakers have to make themselves known. They have to make headlines. It doesn't matter. You know about the Lakers and the Boston Celtics history. Boston starts game one of the finals tonight against Dallas Mavericks. And Woj breaks this news about the Lakers. The Lakers always have to they're gonna find some kind of way to make headlines on Boston's big day. It's coincidental, but not coincidental at the same time. Okay, transitioning to the finals. My predictions. I've been going back and forth for days. And first of all, before I even give you who I think is going to win this series, which I hate doing, I'm going to give you the keys to each team winning this series. For the Boston Celtics, obviously, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's going to obviously show up and do their thing as they should, as we expect. I will tell you one thing. I think that if Jaylen Brown, like last series, if Jaylen Brown has a better series in the finals than Jason Tatum, I don't think Boston wins. The key for the Boston Celtics to win, Jason Tatum is going to have a better series than Jaylen Brown, or they're at least going to have to match each other, much like they kind of did last series. But still, Jaylen Brown had the better series. And that's not a knock on Jaylen Brown by any means. I love Jaylen Brown. Great guy. Great player. But Jason Tatum has to be that guy. He has to be that dude. He has to be that dude. He has to. Jason Tatum, you probably need to win Finals MVP, because if you don't win Finals MVP, that probably means more than likely that y'all lost. And obviously that won't be good, but you have to be better than Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. The other key for Boston is Kristaps Porzingis. He says he's going to play tonight. He says he's going to play game 1. But when reporters asked him, was he healthy, it was an awkward pause, an awkward moment of silence for like 20 to 30 seconds. And his response was he made a joke. He made a joke, some kind of joke, whatever he said. He made a joke. He couldn't even explain. He couldn't even tell the reporters whether he was 100% healthy. So that told me all I need to know. He has a calf strain. So when you have a calf strain, the next thing is your Achilles. We seen what Kevin Durant had in the finals when he had a calf strain and they tried to bring him back. He ended up tearing his Achilles in that 2019 finals. That's what I'm afraid of for Kristaps Porzingis. Kristaps Porzingis is already fragile as it is anyway. So one thing about it, that's what I fear. If he plays and the medical staff puts him out there, I'm afraid for him because he's already injury prone at that too. So that's one reason why I'm afraid. If you're not healthy, Kristaps Porzingis, do not play. I know it's the finals, but you don't have to risk it. You really do not have to risk playing. Obviously, he would help the Celtics tremendously if he does play. Keeping Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Derek Lively off the boards, offensive rebounds, putback layups, putback dunks, keeping them from around the rim and being effective. Kristaps Porzingis needs to play. Al Horford, with all due respect, I love Big Al. I loved him for years, ever since he came in the league. We probably know Al well than anybody because he played with the Hawks. He played here for such a long time. So my respect for Al is way up there. But Al is not no spring. Al Horford is not a spring chicken by any stretch of the imagination. He's 37, 38. Al's older. He's not going to be able to just handle those guys by himself. Neither is Jason Tatum trying to guard PJ Washington and try to throw his body in there. He's already got enough that he has to deal with offensively. So that's what I'm saying. Al is not going to be able to handle those guys by himself. Neither is Jason Tatum. Whether the guys off the bench, Luke Cornett, the O'Shea Brissetts, those guys not going to be able to handle that either. So it would be huge if Kristaps Porzingis could play. But like I said, if you're not healthy, Kristaps Porzingis, do not risk it. Boston Celtics' chances of winning with Kristaps Porzingis is sky high. Their chances of winning without Kristaps Porzingis is 50-50. It's 50-50. Daniel Gafford is active. He's going to catch lobs. He's going to rebound. He's going to impact the shot. He's going to block shots. He's going to run the floor. And he's going to rebound. Same thing with Derek Lively. He's going to block shots, rebound, get points in the paint, be a factor defensively, guarding the rim. And you could say the same thing for PJ Washington. The only thing between those two, PJ Washington shoots threes, and he's consistent with hitting the threes. So having Kristaps Porzingis is key. And the third thing, Boston has to outshoot the Dallas Mavericks from long range. If somehow the Dallas Mavericks outshoot the Boston Celtics in this series from long range, if Dallas outshoots Boston from long range in this series, Boston's in trouble. Boston has to outshoot Dallas three-pointers. They have to outshoot them, which I think they will. That's the third thing. That's 3 keys for the Boston Celtics to win. Flipping to the Dallas Mavericks. We know what Luka and Kyrie are going to do. We all know what they're going to do. And let me take a step back. The fourth key for the Boston Celtics, who is going to guard Luka and Kyrie? Is it going to, do they put Drew Holiday on Kyrie? Or do they put Drew Holiday on Luka? Vice versa. Or do they put Derek White on Luka or Kyrie? We already know they're going to switch it up. They're not going to guard each other for the whole series. They're going to switch it up. Just like the Minnesota Timberwolves switched up the matchups with Jaden McDaniels guarding Kyrie and having Ant-Man guarding Luka, which they started the series with Jaden McDaniels. They started him with the series with guarding Luka. The mistake, that I think the Minnesota Timberwolves made was they switched it late in the series and they put Ant-Man on Luka, who's really the better on the ball defender. He's a better on the ball defender than what Jaden McDaniels is, and they switched Jaden McDaniels to Kyrie, which he was able to have some success on Kyrie, but not a lot because it's Kyrie. With this series, the difference between this series is the Boston Celtics have 4 guys that can guard Luka and Kyrie, unlike the Minnesota Timberwolves only have 2. You're going to throw Drew Holiday at Luka and Kyrie. You're going to throw Derek White at Luka and Kyrie. Drew Holiday, Derek White are the best 2 perimeter defenders in the league by far. You got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum that can guard Kyrie and Luka. You have 4 guys that can do it. The only liability is Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford. Obviously, because they're big men. So you have 4 guys on the Boston Celtics who can guard Luka and Kyrie. No, those guys are not going to stop Luka and Kyrie. One thing they can do is contain them. Now, the flip side of that, who's going to guard Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for the Dallas Mavericks? That's one key for the Dallas Mavericks. Derek White's probably more than likely going to be on Jason Tatum. The second guy that's going to have to guard Jaylen Brown is probably going to be Kyrie Irving. No, Kyrie's not a great defender by any stretch of the imagination, but him and Luka have D'd it up in this playoff run. They have started playing defense, and we know that this is not the Dallas Mavericks team of old where they just don't play any defense. This Dallas Mavericks team with Jason Kidd, they're actually getting after it and playing defenses. So is Luka and Kyrie, but Kyrie cannot guard Jaylen Brown. Kyrie cannot guard Jaylen Brown. Luka cannot guard Jaylen Brown. So I think they're going to throw Luka at Derek White and have Kyrie guard Jaylen Brown. Derek Jones Jr. is probably going to more than likely be on Jason Tatum. They don't have that. The Dallas Mavericks do. They don't have that flexibility defensively like the Boston Celtics do. The Dallas Mavericks, second key for them to win this series, they're going to have to play great team defense. The difference between them and the Boston Celtics, Boston has 4 great individual defenders. 4 great individual defenders. The Dallas Mavericks don't have any great individual defenders. They don't. So they're going to have to play great team defense. You're going to have to hope and pray that they can do that. Man. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they're going to do what they do. They're going to do what they do. If Drew Holiday, Derek White, the rest of the role players off the bench, if they get going, the Dallas Mavericks could kiss that championship goodbye. They're screwed. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, we know they're going to do what they do. If Drew Holiday, Derek White, Porzingis, Al Horford, Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, if those guys do what they do, if those role players contribute also, the Dallas Mavericks are in trouble. And that's the same thing for the Boston Celtics. We know that Luka and Kyrie are going to do their thing. We know that already. If Derek Jones Jr., Daniel Gafford, P.J. Washington, Derek Lively, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jaden Hardy, those role players, if they contribute to what Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic is doing, the Boston Celtics are screwed too. So you see what I'm saying? It's going to come. We know what the superstars are going to do. They're made for this moment. They're going to do what they do. If the role players for each team contribute to that, one or the other team is going to be in heck of a lot of trouble. So, yeah, so I'm trying to think of one other thing that I was thinking about earlier that could come down to this series. Who's going to be clutch? We know Kyrie and Luka are going to be clutch when it comes down to the final shot. Is Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown going to be able to match that clutch gene that Luka and Kyrie Irving has? If it's a close game going down to the wire, can Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown match Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic's clutch gene? That's another key. If Luka Doncic and Kyrie is going to be one or the other, if Luka has a great series and Kyrie doesn't, that works in Boston's favor. If Kyrie has a great series and Luka Doncic doesn't, that also works in Boston's favor. Same thing, vice versa. If Jason Tatum has a great series and Jaylen Brown does not, that works in Dallas's favor. If Jaylen Brown has a great series and Jason Tatum does not, that also works in Dallas' favor. So if the superstar, if both of the two superstars on each team can have great games all together, that's going to help them out tremendously. If one of them has an off night and the other one is on, then I'm concerned. I'm very concerned. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both have to have a great series. They both have to have great games. One person cannot have an off game and then the other person is on and hitting and making everything. It cannot be that way. And for Kyrie and Luka too, it cannot be that way. It cannot be that way. It cannot be that way. But I'm just really trying to think about, like, it's hard to give a prediction of who's going to win this series when Kristaps Porzingis says he's going to play game one. But in my eyes, and what he said, it's no way in the world that he's healthy. It's no way in the world. He's probably been out, 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks. And I know we've had this long extended period where it's been a week since the last playoff game has been played, and these teams have got a whole week off. I know, but it's hard to give a prediction when I feel like Kristaps Porzingis is not healthy, and I also feel like that it's 50-50 if he cannot play in this series. He is the X factor in this series. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are not the X factor. It's Kristaps Porzingis who is the X factor of this series. Make no question about it. I'm sorry if you think that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are the X factor, Kyrie and Luka are the X. I'm sorry if you think that. The X factor of this series is going to come down to Kristaps Porzingis. He's going to make the difference in this series. I'm telling you guys this right now. Kristaps Porzingis is going to make the difference in this series. If he can play, I think Boston has it easy. If he doesn't, it's 50-50. Dallas has a chance. I might be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know. This is what the playoffs are for. This is what the finals are for. We all going to find out together. So it's hard to give a prediction about it. I'm going to tell you it like this. If Kristaps Porzingis plays in this series and he's healthy, I got Boston in 6. If Kristaps Porzingis plays, I have Boston in 6. If Kristaps Porzingis cannot play, if he is not 100% healthy, I have Dallas. I have Dallas. I have Dallas in 7. I have Dallas in 7. I might change. I think I changed that. I think I changed that. I think I'm going to change that. If Kristaps Porzingis is 100% healthy, I have Boston in 7. If Kristaps Porzingis is not 100% healthy, I have Dallas in 6. And if Kristaps is healthy, I have Boston in 7 games. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm trying to... oh my goodness. You see why I'm wrestling with the fact that if Kristaps Porzingis is healthy now, who wins this series? If he plays and he's 100% healthy, I have Boston winning this series. If he is not healthy, I have Dallas winning. I really need to give a final answer, like a straightforward final answer. I need to give a final answer straightforward to you guys. I owe that to y'all. Boston. I got Boston. I got Boston. I got Boston in 6. Boston in 6. Final answer, case closed. I got Boston in 6. Please don't make me regret it, Boston. I really don't care who wins, but I know I have to predict. I know I have to pick. I got Boston in 6. Final answer. That's all I have for you guys today. I got PTSD right now. Oh my God. I got Boston in 6. That's all I got for you guys today. Let me know who you guys think is going to win in the finals. I am having anxiety because I don't know which one. Oh my God. I cracked myself up. Let me know who you guys think is going to win. This is so tough. Oh my God. I feel like I'm going to regret this. I feel like I'm going to regret picking Boston because of what happened in the 2022 finals. But we'll see. See ya.